We miscommunicating, I'm miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Nah, I'm not complaining, My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Daniel, and you're listening to the Engineering Success Podcast, episode 51. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? I'm doing great. It's early Sunday morning. I'm hanging out with Baby E. We've both been up since 5 a.m. It's been a long day. We're going through a little bit of a sleep regression right now. It's not the most bueno experience, but it is fun getting to hang out with Baby E early in the morning and also having this time to shoot the podcast as they lay next to me. Let's give a couple shout outs. Shout out to John Ott and Leroy Jenkins. Thank you so much for your support of the podcast as top tier supporters. I really appreciate it. You too can be a top tier supporter. If you $10 a month gets you a shout out at the beginning of every single episode of the podcast, and that helps me pay for my website, which is www.ENGineeringsuccess.com, where you can see articles and get posts, more expanded posts of the descriptions of each episode. You can see the original text that describes each episode in those posts. Instead of having to click through all the links in the show notes, you can actually read the posts that I'm responding to. And also, you can just see random articles about my opinion about different engineering career topics. I've slacked a little bit recently, but I'm sure I'll get one up there eventually. And you can also write into me at daniel@engringsuccess.com. We're going to be answering a couple of different career questions today, but if you want to have your career question answered, you can write into me there. And yeah, that's the podcast. So I look forward to getting into it. But uh, real quick thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but we've actually had some success on YouTube recently. It's been very exciting. We've had one of our videos, "Why is the engineering dropout rate so high?" spike recently, and we're approaching 15,000 views. And we're actually on pace. If we're able to continue this pace that we're on, we'll be able to monetize on YouTube soon, which is very exciting. So just great developments all around. Thank you guys so much for your support. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick little breather. Just kidding. We're not taking a breather. We're going to go right into this week in LinkedIn Lunatics. All right. So let's go into our first one. Here it is. And let's go. Best rejections I've ever had. All right. Best rejection I've ever had. Good morning, so and so. Unfortunately, on this occasion, you have been unsuccessful. Some feedback from the interview for you. We were very impressed with your technical knowledge. However, you did struggle with the performance based questions. If it's any consolation, you were in the top 3 out of 30 applicants. So well done for making it that far in the process. David and I would like to thank you for your time so far and would like to welcome another application from you should another role with Optech become available in the future. I wish you the best of luck in your job search. Kind regards. So this is not a lunatic. This is actually really good feedback. This is from r/recruiting hell. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of really, really bad experiences people have had with job applications and also like getting ghosted by recruiters at the end of the interview process. It seems like this person had gone through a pretty extensive interview process with this company. It's really nice that they gave some really nice feedback for them on their interview process and how they did in some areas maybe they could improve in. So good job, Optech. Who is Optech? Well, let's see. Optech displays. They do LED digital signage. Okay. Well, good on you, Optech. Shout out to you. 0 out of 10. Not a lunatic at all. Thank you so much, Optech, for valuing the time of the people that you work with and interview. That's very kind of you. Good company. Sounds like a great company to work for. And David and them sound like good people to interview with. So good job. All right. So we had one that was not a lunatic. Let's see what it's like to experience a lunatic on LinkedIn, or at least a post that appears to be lunatic-ish. Let's see. All right. Next one is titled Such Advanced, Much Innovation. Agree? All right. Why organizations should charge a fee to accept applications for employment. In matters of the heart, emotion trumps logic. Okay. So I hope that what they're saying is that you may uh emotionally or logically it might make sense. Actually, I don't know. It reads bad both ways because they might be saying logically it makes sense for organizations to accept charging a fee to accept applications for employment because it costs money to handle them, but emotion tells us not to. And that would be bad because it's not logical to accept charge a fee to accept job applications. That's just a business cost. You gotta plan that in your overhead. That's just an overhead cost for a business, so that's not logical. And if you read it the other way around and you said, well, in the matters of the heart, um, my heart feels like I should charge a fee for accepting applications for employment, but logic is telling me that I need to, logic is telling me that I need to charge, to not accept applications for employment fees, then that would be bad too, because in your heart you feel that you need to charge a fee. That's bad. So all around, we should not be charging a fee to accept applications for employment. That sounds crazy, and it just it just sounds like a way to to not get any applications for your company. I don't think it would work out for you the way that you think it does. I think it would just mean, oh, nobody applies. It's almost like an MLM or a pyramid scheme where you just in their vision of it working, maybe you're just farming money off of job applications because you just post these ridiculously amazing sounding job opportunities but yeah, it just doesn't make sense. There's no world in which that makes sense where you charge a fee to accept a job application at all. Uh, the person says, wow, who's paying the fee? The unemployed? Nice try to take money from the poor. It's an illegal lottery. Okay, so people are reacting very strongly to this. So it makes me think that, yeah, that wouldn't work. So this is a startup hiring expert, is what that person says their tagline is. So maybe, maybe they're just joking. I hope they're joking. I hope they're joking. All right, guys, let's go into that was LinkedIn Lunatics. Let's go into the interview question of the week. We have a new segment. Thanks to our audience members. Shout out Mel Phillips, a listener of the pod, loyal listener of the pod. She suggested that we do an interview question of the week. And this week's interview question of the week is, how do you respond to the question, tell me about a time you failed? Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I would respond to this question and some things that I would do and to how do I structure that? And then I'm going to go ahead and give you my response. Okay, so here's what I think. The first thing is be honest, because you might, in general, it's good to be honest when you're doing interview questions. So this should come off as heartfelt and real, because you might get asked questions about it, and it's just easier to be honest and instead of making up a story. Then you describe the issue, describe what you did to fix it, and then you describe what you learned from the experience and how it impacts how you go about life today. So, story about me. This is a story that involves a few people that I will name. Shout out Stephanie and Riley, who are my classmates that I went through this experience with. So this happened to me when I was in college. I had a group paper, and I was very confident in my abilities to contribute to the paper. So when we were dividing up the paper, there were different sections, and I took the section that I thought was the most difficult section, and then it was the most and probably one of the most important sections of the paper. It was like I don't even remember which part it was, but it was the center of the paper, and I said I'll take that part, and then I waited until the last minute to write my part, the day before the assignment was due. And then my girlfriend and I of 2 plus years broke up. So I waited to the last minute, and then when I was supposed to be working on writing the paper, I was getting broken up with. And then I was an emotional wreck. And I remember basically I had to pull Stephanie and Riley into a study room and say, "Hey, I'm a mess. I need help." And that shouldn't have been what I was doing at the very end at all. I can't believe that I waited till the end to put my teammates in that situation. And the result is that we ended up getting a 59 on that assignment. And what I learned from that experience is that I will never postpone part of an assignment or anything like that to the last minute ever again. I'm much more diligent, and I also am much more realistic about trusting my teammates and equally dividing up work between teammates, because it's one of those things where you're on a team for a reason, and just because you think that you're great doesn't mean that you need to sign up for taking on more than you can chew. So I learned a lot about how to rely on my teammates and how to plan ahead in advance. And that's a time that I failed, and that's a really good example for me. So all right, guys, well, I'm going to take a quick breather and we're going to get into our questions. So 1 second, we'll be right back.
We miscommunicating, I miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Nah, I'm not complaining, nah, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station. Same shit, different day, I'm just trying to get paid. Yeah, I'ma stay in the shade so they can't see my face. Yeah, only blow if I know that I got the right strain. Yeah, when I blow then I know that I did it my way. Yeah. Everybody asks me why I'm up so late, man. They think I'm insane, I just wanna create, man. No angel dust till the boy cremated. In heaven with Mr. Cobain, see dated. But that's not for a long time. Cardi for the long nights, party for the hard times. On time at the wrong time. Why the fuck would I try to quantize my jawline? Speeding on the feeder cause I promised I'd be on time. And I said it last time, it's gotta be the last time. You can play this song if you ever got a bad vibe. Say I'm acting moody cause I've been stuck like Mad Eye. Miss the times when I had nap time and snack time. I style like Billy cause she say I'm a bad guy. She say waste my time just writing all these rap lines. Said she crossed the line and I promise that's the last time. Used to play Angry Birds, man, I was mad fly. Shit, different day, I'm just trying to get paid. Yeah, I'ma stay in the shade so they can't see my face. Yeah, only blow if I know that I got the right strain. Yeah, when I blow then I know that I did it my way. Yeah. Feeling gone, like switching stocks after sex though. Max got the tracks, lost his mind and his headphones. They just call me broke cause I still use the wire cause she asked for my number, damn I think they should retire me. Feeling gone, like switching stocks, got the tracks, lost his they just call me broke cause they just call me broke cause they should retire me. We miscommunicating, I miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Nah, I'm not complaining, nah, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station. Same shit, different day, I'm just trying to get paid. Yeah, I'ma stay in the shade so they can't see my face. Yeah, only blow if I know that I got the right strain. Yeah, when I blow then I know that I did it my way. Yeah. Everybody asks me why I'm up so late, man. They think I'm insane.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end, so I'm going to have to postpone recording the rest of the podcast until later. All right. Check you later. Bye.